Hi, and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto Podcast. My name's Chris, and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And I am joined by JB and Kabir from Noonet for an interview. So if you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Don't forget to jump in the Discord. It's absolutely free to join. You won't regret it. There's over 5,600 people supporting one another navigate this space safely. It's a great community to immerse yourself with. So come down to the Discord and have some more meaningful conversations with us. Right, let's get to the interview. So would you mind just introducing yourself for the audience and I guess give us an idea of how you got into cryptocurrency and starting Noonet? I think the audience would be really interested.
Yes, so my name is 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗧. I'm co-founder and CEO of Noonet. And yes, we are building a global decentralized computing platform, or economy of decentralized computing. And basically, the main thing is that we are sort of building a marketplace where people can bring their computing power from wherever they have it. And those people can be, just people having mining rigs or powerful or less powerful desktops, or maybe businesses which have spare computing power. So, and we want to connect everything into one cloud and allow basically everybody to use that. So we spawned from SingularityNet. We got spin-offs from SingularityNet. So for a couple of years, we were doing, we were incubated as a small team, trying out all kind of technical solutions and this idea. Now, how did I, maybe I will rephrase the question. How did I get into decentralized computing rather than crypto? Because that's basically what we're doing. So the way we describe to ourselves is that Noonet is a deep tech startup, which managed to sort of get into crypto basically because it is related to crypto because of two things. One thing is that we are using blockchain integrations for settling transactions between the constituents of the platform, meaning people who want to use computing power can sort of pay for that computing power to compute owners. And the second thing is that we were supported through that through that crypto market initially. And that was probably related because we were a spin-off of SingularityNet. Now, regarding me, before that, I was doing research in SingularityNet. So basically, I was doing a PhD research on the distributed computing, AI, artificial intelligence, and basically philosophy of mind, and artificial general intelligence, and cognitive science, and so on and so forth. So, and my practical side of the research was basically done within SingularityNet. And then 10 days before that, we started Noonet. 10 days before the defense, not before that. So that's how I got into this.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to talk with you, Kabir. This is really nice. So the question I've got for you here is, are you able to explain to us, obviously, the community, the members, the new members in the space, a kind of a rough idea as to what Noonet is and, how it kind of works?
So yes, so the in one-liner, we are globally decentralized computing economy of computing. So that's what I explained. And I wonder if I can share actually here the picture. But all right, doesn't matter. I can explain. So Noonet, what we're building, essentially we're building technology which is composed of protocols and APIs in order for computers to connect to data, computing power, to connect to AI engines. So basically all the algorithms that can be run on computers, which is pretty much all of them, with data, with application developers, with pretty much users. And so what we're building a platform where this can like data can flow between all these constituents. We are building the tokenomic layer so that the value can flow between them from the users, from applications to compute providers to data sets and so forth. And we are using blockchain technologies in general because blockchain technology as such, I think it's more than, in the beginning, it was trying to realize the promise of micropayments, which was not possible in the kind of conventional payment systems where you should be able to pay for very small amounts of value, let's say, to transfer between the constituents of the platform. And you can build much more rich value exchange between different stakeholders or different, let's say, parts of the system or computing system, which includes many stakeholders, let's say, or many parties. So that's pretty much what we're doing. We are building a platform in order to enable all kind of models to be built on top of that. So 𝗏𝗏 basically doing this deep tech, and we are looking for partners to build actual models on top of that. However, since we are starting, we're also trying to attract, and we are looking for already like the closest possible use cases so that we can build them ourselves and to basically to show to the community and to the broader space what can be done. However, the core product or core model, core platform is something that we are looking for others to build on rather than building everything ourselves. So right now we started with a prototype connecting different SingularityNet AI agents. So in terms of SingularityNet, basically the integration allows to run any SingularityNet AI agent. Mm-hmm. But we are not constrained to SingularityNet AI. So it's, in principle, we are targeting general computing, which is in pretty much containerized workflows. So in terms of use cases, we had the prototype was basically a couple of a few SingularityNet AI agents running on the connected to each other and exchanging data between, results between each other. Then we did again as a prototype platform private alpha version of the platform where we did browser extension which was calling the 𝗏𝗏 platform and running again few SingularityNet AI agents, but those were running on different computers already within the private alpha version of the platform. And also there was a prototype of the tokenomics paying to those agents and to machines on Solidity, which is on Ethereum. Now, since then, basically this was done before 𝗏𝗏 was launched, or 𝗏𝗏 So, and then we basically, with the tokenomics, we changed certain quite deep, that's not autonomous, we changed quite deep components of the platform. Actually, one thing that we observe certain, let's say, third-party activity on our private alpha, and based on that, we kind of pivoted from the technology that we were using. In principle, we were using everything was written in Python, and now the thing that was released in kind of pre-release, it's written in Go, which is kind of compiled into binary, and kind of much more much more integrated to the operating systems that we're using now, which is Linux, but it also allows us to use other operating systems in the future. Another thing that we did, we pivoted from the doing tokenomic model on Ethereum to doing it on Cardano, which means what happened during this sort of in the beginning of the year that Cardano released a new version, a hard fork, which allowed to do smart contracts with Bluetooth. Actually, it was a little bit before, but then there were a few more updates. So that allowed us to do all our tokenomic logic in Bluetooth on Cardano. So that was pretty big sort of rewrite, and we are still doing prototype smart contracts, which are very close to release on a testnet and sort of giving out the community to test. And related to that, I think one of the and we also were awarded 2 grants from Catalyst. How is it called? Foundation program for 2 projects, and that was also related to the fact that we are integrating to Cardano, which is decentralizing Cardano blockchain itself by allowing the stake pool operators to run and the relay nodes to run on Nunet, which actually introduced quite a few nice technical problems which we were dealing all along, so, including security.
I was going to say, what are the big benefits to being on Cardano in comparison to other chains? Just while we're talking about Cardano.
So the first thing, I think, well, it's not the main, I guess, but it's not the least important, is that SingularityNet has strategic, let's say, direction towards Cardano. So that was one. Another thing is that basically the Bluetooth smart contract, the way, I mean, we didn't know that when we started, so that was the strategic direction, but it seems to be much more, kind of gives more options and possibilities.
Okay.
Although it's a different, basically different model, and right, it's not that we are, let's say this way, we are blockchain agnostic as a platform. So we are integrating different blockchains via our tokenomics API. So basically, we define the functionality that we need in the API, and then we implement it through the different blockchains. So right now, the main direction is Cardano. And by doing that, we built business logic that we need in order for tokenomics for us to run, then implement it on one blockchain on Cardano. We do not rule out that we will implement on others.
Yeah.
And of course, there is so when we started, by the way, the merge was not there. So the Ethereum was kind of solving the move from proof of work to proof of stake. Cardano already had this. Now both are on proof of stake, but then there is a speed issue and price issue of transactions. Well, it's not an issue on any blockchain right now. We would like to have much more ability to do really micro transactions, which means it needs to be cheaper. Yeah. However, actually, both blockchains have a solution.
Super. So obviously it's been some time since we did our first interview. Would you mind just talking through, I guess, some of the highlights and things that you guys have achieved at Nunet this year?
So first thing is that we built a team, or we started to build a team. So what I could really say and sort of proudly, not exactly announce, but proudly say that we have a core team built, and that was the main work for this year, based on which with which we can start scaling up, and that is the plan for the next year. So we are now really busy. So I think right now we have something like 23 people. More than half of them are developers. And the main thing that we were doing what I explained in terms of technical things, in terms of our roadmap. However, the main thing was and still is to structure all the development processes so that we can scale up and kind of attract more use cases to the platform and that is pretty much project management, open source, development flow management, and so on and so forth. I think important to mention is that pretty much from the very beginning we adopted what we call use case based platform development model, which means that we have a roadmap of all the general features that we want to build on Noonet in order to enable the global economy of decentralized computing as the whole sort of vision. But we prioritize it based on the use cases that we see that can already bring use for the space, which means they already can be used for kind of actual workflows and value exchanges, which means that, I mean, there are certain very, very complex things that we have to solve. However, there are certain use cases that we don't need those complex things to solve in order already to start sort of to start, how to say, for them to go to the market, let's say this way.
Yeah.
And so based on that, we are looking for partners, because we are looking for business models out there that can be applied, or we can apply and we can help build. But those business logic or like application logic, we are not inventing it. We are looking for partners for them to, let's say, to work with them in order to bring this in all kind of areas. So we are looking for Web3, obviously, with all the use cases that we're building now. Then we're looking for IoT and Industry 4.0 use cases, basically for industry, which could be smart cities are a little bit more complex use case, but there are certain use cases in the smart cities where we already can do something. Also something like agri-tech, for example, which doesn't need that much security, but it has a lot of distributed parties which need to collaborate. Yeah, smart logistics, etc. and so on. So we are looking to those areas in order to basically find this match between what we can already offer and what the space needs, and also based on that build features, more complex features, and that will open us more and more, let's say, space to collaborate with the users and with the partners. Right. So now regarding, I think at the previous few months, the main development was that we designed and launched what we call community developers program or community testers program, which is, well, technically it is a Discord server, but so that was strategy of Noonet from the very beginning. We are very transparent with what we're doing. So we were, as soon as we had our GitLab repository, we started to push out what exactly we're doing, issues, sprint plans, and etc. and so on and so forth. So now we stepped let's say we did one step further. So we, after we felt that we have a core team, we sort of invited the whole community to participate in the development process itself. So we're kind of expanding the development into the community, which is also, we hope to attract developers with whom we can collaborate technically. And the goal here is to make Noonet as a real open source project where most of the code is actually contributed by the community. And that brings not only that, okay, you may say, okay, that's kind of free lunch. Some people are coding it for free. You don't need to kind of pay for that. However, that's not exactly that. The strength of the open source is that you have many eyes looking at the same, let's say, code. So it usually becomes much more higher quality, more secure, and also you can get much more ideas than from many more ideas from the community than you can get in your own head, or even in the core teams. So, And that is pretty much the strategic, let's say, kind of direction of 𝗏𝗏. We want the whole development process to, the whole development of the platform to be done by not only by us as a core team, but by the community, and hopefully community could take it over, in a sense, where the platform will go. And the core team will make sure that it's done properly, securely, and it's running.
Yes, obviously you've spoken there about the future and things obviously you're looking to do. Is there an achievement that stands out for yourself as 𝗏𝗏, which really stands out that you're most proud of?
Well, the first is what I said, as a team. Now, I'm really excited to look what kind of technical solutions we're building. Let's say, we can say the issue here is how to kind of translate this excitement to broader community, because that needs kind of technical expertise. And one of the things, let's say, what we started to do, and when we started to do, it was just a research based on one of our use cases, is that we needed to basically encrypt all the. And what 𝗏𝗏 is that there are computers which are running, let's say, under your desk, and then 𝗏𝗏 will ask you to whether you would like to give your computing power. Actually, 𝗏𝗏 will not ask. If you would like to, then there is a procedure how to onboard your computer 𝗏𝗏 and to, let's say, give certain amount of computing power. Say, okay, please use it. Then 𝗏𝗏 will deploy pretty much any compute engine on your computer, and will run certain logic, which will not be able to access your computer outside the sandbox, and your computer will not be able to access that thing, because it should be secure from both ends. So the things that the technical team did is that we are shipping encrypted containers in order to achieve that. And there is another thing that we did, is what is needed when people are running, for example, servers in Amazon. They have access to those servers with certain IP addresses. And here in 𝗏𝗏, there are a lot of use cases where we need to do this access, but when a person says, when there is, let's say, a user has certain computing task, and this user gives computing tasks to 𝗏𝗏, not to any specific computer. And what we need to provide access to that computer, which is not known before a user puts a task. So, so we basically solved it. And it may sound kind of details, but these things are really exciting for me. And I think we are in a kind of, again, it's a little bit about the future, but we are in a kind of a last bit of, let's see, the sprint to bring that into the use cases where we can integrate these kind of solutions, and to show as to bring to the community as a use cases where people can use that. However, the sort of more exciting for me is that these are the features of the platform, and these features will enable other use cases and other applications. Well, these are just examples, but these are things that I'm really proud of, and which, because of the team.
Awesome. So obviously you're integrated with SingularityNet ecosystem. How does that work? What is it that you're getting from SingularityNet ecosystem?
So right now, the integration with SingularityNet ecosystem. So 𝗏𝗏 is a separate platform technologically, and the integration with the SingularityNet ecosystem is a basically commitment to as a spin-off. But since we are also agnostic, not exactly agnostic, but SingularityNet AI integration is one of the, let's say, first integrations, We are building it without making it exclusive, which is a kind of another layer of complexity. Therefore, it's not that fast, let's say. But yes, so basically we are integrating Singularity Net platform into NuNet platform, taking into account that there are other platforms around. So we are doing this integration in order to, again, with APIs, which allow us to integrate any platform. Then also there is, since NuNet, one thing is computational exchange of data, exchange of computing, exchange of sort of to know what kind of containers run where. Another thing is integration of value exchange, which means that we have to have, which means that at least they have to be on the same blockchain. Although theoretically not necessary, because we are planning to have different blockchains. I mean, we are planning to have a way of exchanging value to different blockchains through NuNet, basically. But right now, since both Singularity Net and NuNet are integrated into Cardano, so we don't yet have this kind of clear interaction between the smart contracts on the both sides. But as I said, the main aspect is the platforms are pretty much separated in this sense, but they interact through the APIs, which allow Singularity Net to run the workflows on different computing platforms, and NuNet to run computing workflows from different sources.
Yeah, so obviously, well, what processes, what AI processes might NuNet help with?
AI processes, NuNet in this sense is agnostic what kind of AI it's running. So what we care about is what is the input that is needed for that AI. Where does it get data, and how do we pipe that data into whatever AI process that is running somewhere on NuNet? So this is what we care about. What exactly is the logic of this AI? It's internal problem of the container that we're running. Then the second thing that what we care about is what are the outputs and where those outputs are stored so that users can access them. That's two. What's the third one, I guess, is that how much computing power this AI process needs, so that we can find the appropriate compute provider or resources to run this. Then what we care about preferences of a user, because you can find a faster computer, but that's probably more expensive and more powerful. And maybe, so which means you have a preference how much you can pay for certain compute engine. Or you may find maybe more distributed, smaller computers, or just less powerful, which will run longer. However, they will most probably cost less. So what we care about mostly is to balance all these things, preferences and capabilities of compute providers, and data flowing. So allowing data to be sort of inputted in these compute workflows that are running through NuNet, and the result being presented wherever it needs to be presented. So in terms of AI, it can be anything, and that's the whole beauty of it, is that AI is a very well, actually, it's not only beauty, but it's a requirement. AI is a very acceleratingly sort of moving field. We don't know what AI we will have in 2 days or in 2 months. Therefore, we have to run anything that can be, let's say, executed.
Awesome. Looking into the future, what have you got planned? What's on the roadmap for NuNet in 2023?
So there are, let's say, as I said, in terms of the platform, the way we develop platform features, which sometimes need pretty much deep research and then development, and then we develop use cases based on that. So we are changing certain protocols inside, which nobody will see actually, but that's a pretty big work in order to be able to scale now from the technical perspective the way we want. So basically P2P protocol, we are kind of changing it under the hood. We are looking to design the identity management system, which means the identification management, because the NUNET is a pseudonymous. We will not have, or at least the way platform will be built, we will not require people to reveal the identities. However, we will have to identify each machine and each algorithm, and basically each owner of each machine and each algorithm on the network, since we will be combining those into this computing, let's say, this virtual machines or microservice environments, let's call it this way. And then, since we'll have to exchange value between them, basically we'll need this kind of identification system, which hopefully will move towards reputation API and allowing reputation systems to be built on top of that. Now, whether we will be building reputation system or whether we'll be able to find some partners or integrate reputation systems which are already existing, that's another question. So that's another thing that we're looking for. We have a broad roadmap, but we also are looking for partners to integrate certain open source solutions that are out there, which are many and rich, into the NUNET, so that we don't need to kind of invent the bicycle ourselves. And that sometimes requires from us to change certain deep, let's say, technology in order to make this integration happen. So actually, the way we define NUNET functionality or the platform functionality, we are building open APIs. So all the NUNET functionality we are aiming to describe in open API, which is pretty much, it's not pretty much, it's public. So both us and our partners or anybody basically can see those open APIs and can develop against them. Mm-hmm. And this is something that we are very much looking next year to. We started to do that, but to make it more, enhance this ability and this aspect, and to make it more kind of streamlined, integrate in our development process, so that we could much more easily find partners with whom we can build in the open source space. And that is pretty much development management aspect. So we started to do that. Now, these are from the kind of technical aspects, is data persistence and data storage. So data persistence meaning that we have to, in a decentralized network, when the computers can go up and down, basically, you have to make sure that when a certain computer gets switched off, or maybe the internet connection gets disrupted, the computing state on that computer doesn't get lost, because otherwise you have a big cost in the decentralized network especially for long-running jobs, when it could be that the machine learning algorithm can run for 3 days, for example, and when after 2 days this computer gets switched off for some reason, or maybe they lose the power or lose internet connection, we have to make sure that there are certain snapshots of this computing state, and all the state doesn't get lost, and all this computing state gets kind of transferred to another place in the NUNET network, because the user doesn't care. They they probably will not even know where this job is running. So that is, let's say, technical things that we have to solve, and we are again looking for partners, and there are quite a few solutions out there which can be integrated. So we are working on these things, basically researching the integration possibilities, and also adjusting our open APIs and adjusting our internal cogs to do that. Another thing that we want to boost next year is the developer tooling. So in order for people to start using or to build on NUNET, we have to provide the developer tooling, so that they can see what they're doing, how the applications are running, and to debug those applications. The milestone actually is a concrete milestone, which we basically planning to do. Well, the current plan is Q1 is public alpha. Now with public alpha, which means that we enable at least one use case to use the smart contract on the mainnet, to run it on the mainnet. So from the platform, from the technical perspective, we are pretty close, except that we have to test all the smart contracts and to audit them, etc., and so on and so forth. That may take time, and we may run into unforeseen whether it's problems or challenges. But that's exactly why we launched the community testers program, so that we can bring all those features onto the testnet and invite community testers to just test it and to find out all kind of things that we may need to solve before we go to the mainnet. So that's pretty much the closest milestones that we're looking forward to do next year, first quarter.
So recently we've seen a lot of talk in the space about regulation. Can I ask you your thoughts on regulation, and if you see any risks or any concerns with regulation if it comes into place?
Well, that's a very broad question. And regulation, well, it's not a concern, of course. The main concern is that it's unclear what's going to happen, since the whole space is being sort of shaped as we go, and the uncertainty. On the one hand, it's kind of a possibility to do something. On the other hand, it's a challenge when it's just uncertainty. It's a challenge. So obviously regulation is related to that, and it's not good not to know what is going to be regulated. However, we can feel quite well what is going to be regulated. What is somewhat more concerning is that basically the blockchain technology in general, or actually Web3 technology in general, not blockchain. I'm looking at this space as Web3 technology or Web 3.0, depending on where you are on this kind of debate. What is Web3? What is Web 2.5, etc., and so on. But the way I'm looking at it is that our space is this whatever are called Web 3.0 technologies, which blockchain is one of them. So that's the way I'm looking at it. And I see, so these technologies basically bring possibilities which I don't think were imagined before. Well, as usual with all these breakthroughs, what we get. But the legal system or the regulations, well, there is a tendency to try to sort of take the old ways, let's call it old ways, doesn't mean that they're kind of bad or whatever, and to sort of try to squeeze new technologies into those. And by that, I think, let's say the danger is that we will disable most of the opportunities or options that those technologies bring. And since NuNet actually is building on top of those things, that to build things that were not possible before those technologies, and when the regulation comes and they will sort of, in all kind of ways, will somehow restrict those options, that's a concern. Another thing is that so that's the general concern. I cannot really say anything concretely in this sense, but it's just a kind of it's how to say, it's a negotiation between two perspectives, but that's always happens. That always happens when there are new technologies which kind of break the ground. There are old ways of doing stuff. This is stable and clear, etc., and so on and so forth, and safe. And there are new ways of doing stuff, which brings new capabilities, options, etc., and so forth. But it's not stable and it's not that safe. So of course we need to find a balance, and the concern is clear from the regulators, etc. From our side, the concern is that the space may get regulated so badly that we will not be able to offer anything new. And that concern is also related to this sort of almost anybody who is related to crypto. When you see a word crypto in any let's say startup, which is 𝗏𝗏 is the case, immediately you get kind of categorized as playing with crypto and DeFi, etc., and so forth, related to all these things that are happening in that space, which may or may not be true. So again, if everybody who is trying to build something in this Web 3.0 technology or related to blockchain or crypto, which is not necessarily DeFi, the danger is that everybody will be kind of categorized into the same bucket and be regulated as that bucket. So that is also not a concern. However, I am pretty much optimistic that the balance, we'll find the balance.
Yeah. I'm kind of aligned to that. I kind of feel like there might be a few iterations so they don't get it right, but eventually I think we'll land somewhere that works for everybody involved, both regulators and innovators in the space, right?
Yes,
for sure. Is there anything else that you'd like to sort of let the community know about, or any closing thoughts before we sort of bring the end to the interview?
Specific, I think what I said, when I was describing the direction that 𝗏𝗏 is developing, we're pretty much in a good position to continue that and to kind of expand into the same direction. So we are looking to step more into more use cases. Mm-hmm. Also, we really excited to see how our Cardano community started to grow. Or how to say our Cardano community? Not exactly our, but people who are related to Cardano blockchain of 𝗏𝗏 community. And we are also looking forward to that. So we are going to participate in also Catalyst's next fund to build our use cases and to kind of expand based on this platform use case-based platform development model. And I'm really excited to see how we starting to scale up.
It sounds amazing, and yeah, I'm really interested to see sort of some of the new use cases and integrations and stuff in the future. I think it is really exciting times.
Yes.
Super. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat with our community and everything 𝗏𝗏, and yeah, hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
So looking forward.